YouTube, how's it going? I'm back with some more division by division NFL draft grades. Today's video is for the NFC North. We're going to go through all the divisions until we have a winner of each division. We're going to put those together, and we're going to figure out who my biggest winner of the 2018 NFL draft was. So we're going to break down each team. Let's start with the Detroit Lions here. First round pick was Frank Ragnow, obviously. My best pick for them was Kerryon Johnson. They needed a starting running back. They have some decent running backs, solid running backs. But Kerryon Johnson should be their number one guy there. I like Kerryon Johnson a lot, very underrated. Worst pick would be Tracy Walker, safety from Louisiana Lafayette. I did like Walker, just not in the third round. I believe they traded up to get him. I think it's just a little early. Could be a good player. They obviously have a plan for him. But again, just in terms of my board, a little early. And sleeper pick could have been their best pick. Tyrell Crosby, the offensive lineman from Oregon, could play tackle or guard. I think he's a tackle. Mean, nasty blocker. That's why he was probably my favorite offensive lineman in the draft. Don't think he was the best one in the draft. Just one of my favorites in the draft. Thought he would go second round, third bottom line. They get him in the fifth. So excellent value there. Could have been, again, categorized as the best pick. I think Kerryon Johnson just makes more of an impact. But pick by pick, Frank Ragnow. I like Ragnow. I just think 20 maybe was a little early. It wasn't a bad pick at all. I just thought it was a little early. I thought James Daniels was the better center/guard, but obviously they see Ragnow's more of a fit. They liked him. His Alabama game was very impressive, though, so obviously they fell in love with him there in other tape. We talked about Kerryon Johnson in round 2. We talked about Tracy Walker round 3. Deshaun Hand in round 4. I like Deshaun Hand in round 4. I think they gave away a future third to the Patriots, if I remember correctly. So I'm never a fan of that, but I do like Hand, and I think he's a fit and a need. And he'll fit that defense, I think, pretty good right away. So could make an instant impact. So overall, solid pick. And then we talked about Crosby. Then round 7 was Nick Bowden. I think we'll play fullback from San Diego State. So they had some hits here, some hits that I liked, and maybe some. They didn't really reach at all, except for Walker maybe. It's just trading away picks. It seemed they like to do there. Giving away picks, but I thought they needed more picks because on paper, they do have some holes, but they do play at a high level every year. It seems like that, and they play at a high level, which is very impressive because they have some good playmakers. Tough to grade this one. So I do love some of these picks, but then some were reaches again, trading away picks. I gave him a B, just because, again, some picks I did really like, but then some. It kind of got evened out there. I gave him a B, but overall they got some needs. Thought they could have used another linebacker as well, though. Didn't get that there. Again, the Deshaun Hand. I like Deshaun Hand, but then giving away the third for next year, kind of they had to have him, which I guess I see why. He's got some upside, but giving away some picks where I thought they were a team that needed some picks, so couldn't give him higher than a B. That's just my take on it, but overall, I mean, B is still solid. On to the next team. Let's do the Minnesota Vikings. Best pick is Mike Hughes, their first rounder. Looked like they stayed true to their board. They didn't reach for a need there. Mike Hughes, he's not going to start at corner right away, but Mike Zimmer does like using the most corners he possibly can in a game. You see him use probably 4, not at one time, but 4 different names will be in a game more than any other team. So he'll use Mike Hughes, and they needed a kick returner as well. So he's a definite playmaker. Worst pick, Devontae Downs. I almost thought about putting none here, but I put Downs. It made sense. Even though it was a late pick, he wasn't a draftable guy for me just because he recently got hurt at the end of the year. So I'm not really sure. He's a good football player, but I'm not really sure what the plan is. Is he going to be okay to go? Is he going to make the team? We'll see. It's going to be hard to make this team because it's a pretty complete roster. So it's not a bad worst pick because it was their last pick. It wasn't terrible. Sleeper pick, could have went with a few guys here. I went with Tyler Conklin, the Central Michigan tight end, just because I think he's going to make an impact. Maybe more of an impact than a lot of these guys they picked right away. Well, you could go with the kicker too, Daniel Carlson, because he may be their only kicker. We'll see. But Conklin in the DeFlippo offense, I think will be used a lot. They have, obviously, Rudolph, who really can do it all as a tight end. They have David Morgan, who's more of a blocking tight end. And then Conklin is a receiving tight end, can line up in the line and can line up in the slot. I think that we'll see him in the slot quite a bit in this offense. So it's something to look out for. Catch the ball real nice in the red zone. But let's break down pick by pick here. First round, we talked about Mike Hughes. I like that. Round 2, Brian O'Neill. It was late round 2. I thought he would be, yeah, early round 3. So it's the same range there. Very athletic tackle. I don't expect him to start right away. Round 4, I like to pick in Jalen Holmes. They're apparently moving him to D tackle. He does have freakish size, so Mike Zimmer is very good at developing the defensive guys. So that could have been put under the sleeper pick. I just don't know if we see a lot of him right away, but he's got tremendous upside. I like what they're going to do there. Talked about Tyler Conklin, the tight end from Central Michigan. Like to pick in round 5. Daniel Carlson was my only graded kicker. I thought he would get drafted around this range, so they get him possibly to replace Kai Forbath. So could be a good move there because Forbath was very inconsistent. Round 6 was Colby Gossett, guard from Appalachian State. I thought he would go round 5. I thought they needed a guard too, and we always see these guards picked round 5, 6 range, maybe even 7 that just surprisingly play right away. So this could be one of them. I like this pick a lot. Adea Rune, I also like this pick. Tremendous upside, freakish talent. Reminds me of some former Vikings or current Viking Daniil Hunter as well too. He was kind of just a freak guy. Didn't have a lot of production. Mike Zimmer developed him pretty quickly and did a nice job. So it can be a similar situation, even though he's a later pick than Daniil Hunter was. So overall, the Vikings did a good job. Didn't have a whole bunch of needs, but they got some guys that can help them right away, even though they didn't really need a whole bunch of help. But they're looking out for the future. I gave him a B+. Didn't really wow anywhere, but they did a good job. So not tremendous value, but again, they got guys where I thought they should have went, got guys that I thought fit their team. They usually do a good job at this. So B+ makes sense for me there. So who we going with next? Let's go with the Green Bay Packers. Packers and Bears we got left. Good old rivals there. So Packers. Best pick? Josh Jackson, the cornerback from Iowa. Like Josh Jackson a lot. Thought he could have been, well, we expected Ward to be the first corner off the board. So I thought Josh Jackson could have been the second corner off the board. He was not. Went second round. They needed corners. He's a playmaking corner. Teams, I guess, worried about his press maybe, his strength, ability to run with faster receivers. I'm not too worried about it. So I like Josh Jackson. Love the pick there. Worst pick's going to be the punter from Alabama, J.K. Scott. I thought 5th round, a little early for a punter. I don't know. Not that big of a deal. They had a ton of picks, so not that big of a deal, but it's a little early for a punter. There was quite a bit of run on punters in that range, too. It was kind of surprising. Especially after one's gone, you think you would be able to get yours. I don't know. This is weird. You think you'd be able to get yours later? I don't know. Sleeper pick would be Equanimeous St. Brown from Notre Dame. I guess interviews or character concerns make him drop. I didn't really see any of that. He was always on the field. Good player. I thought could have been a round 4 guy. A lot of upsides, like your prototype wide receiver, can run routes. He's very, very long. He's athletic. Did have some drops this last year, but was excellent with Kaiser. And it's funny because Kaiser's actually on the Packers now. Was excellent 2 years ago. Looked like a early 2nd round pick then. So tremendous value here. You can make an impact right away. Good pick. Let's break them down pick by pick. Jair Alexander. We talk about Josh Jackson. He wasn't even their first corner they took. Jair Alexander. Love his attitude. Love his confidence. His attack on the ball. Very good. He played very well against Clemson when they had Deshaun Watson. Lack of games maybe is the only thing that scares me is he kept getting hurt. Minor injuries kept him out. I think Louisville was just holding him out because his attitude. He wants to play in the game. So I'm not too worried about it. It's really, to have only one big weakness there is a pretty good thing. So I do like the pick there. Josh Jackson round 2. We talked about that. Great pick. Oren Burks in round 3. I thought was a little early. He is a good player and that can play different linebacker spots. So coming in at a 3-4, I think I can use him outside or inside. That's something interesting to see. Round 4, love the pick in Jamon Moore. A lot of upside to him. I thought he would go in this range, but I thought it would be a good pick when I was expecting him to go round 4. Athletic abilities there. He ran it in the 4.6s, I think, in the combine. It doesn't match the tape, which is a good thing. You know, he's got football speed. He looks like 4.4s on the field, so it's kind of weird, but didn't run a whole bunch of routes. They didn't really ask him to run a different variety of routes. So that's why I most likely expected him around 4. But good athletic ability, catch the ball, and can outrun defenders. So solid pick there. Cole Madison from Washington State. I thought was a little early in round 5. I thought he'd be a round 6 or 7 guy. inconsistent guy. That's the main reason why. 1 second he looks like could be a third-rounder guy, then 1 second I don't know what he's doing. Just getting beat completely, getting blown off the ball. So hit or miss guy there. So at round 5, I guess it's not that big of a deal there. But I thought it was a little early. And then we talked about J.K. Scott. Round 5, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I like this pick. I know a lot of people had him like 7th round, but I liked him round 5. Tremendous speed with size. You don't really see that a lot. What is he, 6'2", 6'3", and he had one of the faster 40s running the 4.3s. Very impressive. So kind of a weird offense in South Florida. I think they kind of forced the screen passes, the jet sweeps too much. But I think developing on the Packers is I think it's gonna make him pretty solid. And then round 6, we talked about Equanimeous St. Brown. Who gets more action? Jamal Moore, Scantling, St. Brown. It's gonna be interesting. 7th round, James Looney, defense end, California. I thought was 7th round drafted. Hunter Bradley, the long snapper. I don't know about drafting a long snapper. Can't remember the last time I seen that. They did have a ton of picks, so I guess why not? And then round 7, Kendall Donnerson, did not have a grade on him, but it was a very late pick. So they have some picks that I don't hate, but I don't love. But then they had some picks that I thought were very great value, looking at Josh Jackson, and they got 2 corners, which they absolutely needed. Even though Oren Burks was a little early, I think they got a plan for him. I think he could be a better pro than he was in college. And even though they went with 3 receivers, maybe a little much, they got some very athletic dudes that I liked. So what did I give him? I gave him an A-. You know, again, loved a lot of these picks, but some were a little early, so that's why that minus is next to the A. But overall, a good draft for the Packers. I think just in the future, I think maybe they need some pass rushers. So I think the pass rush could be pretty solid this year, but just looking on to the future. So it's not that big of a deal now. It's just one thing I thought maybe they would. I think Oren Burks, again, I think he can be developed as a pass rusher. So we'll see. Maybe they hit that, but A-, pretty good grade for the Packers. Good job to them. On to the Bears. Do the Bears beat the Packers? Do they even beat the Vikings? We'll see. Or the Lions. Best pick, Anthony Miller. Now, the best pick, if I had to grade each pick, probably was James Daniels because I thought he'd be a first-round pick. But Anthony Miller, I think, will make, and Roquan Smith it was the obvious pick there, will make an instant impact. That's pretty obvious. But Anthony Miller, to me, I think is a sleeper to make an instant impact. I think they'll use him a lot. I think he's a wild card. I think he will finish top 2 in receiving yards for the Bears. I think with that offense, with the Nagy offense, Mitchell Trubisky, I think Miller is the favored receiver in that if they give him the opportunity, which they traded up to get him. I think they will. He was my number 4 receiver in the draft. And tremendous value, excellent route running. The only thing with my bold statement that he will lead the team or second the team in receiving yards is the receivers lately seem to take some time to develop. It's mainly because of the route running, but he has it. So I think he'll be on the field because I think he fits that offense and he can run the routes. So definitely an instant impact guy to look out for. Worst pick, none. I didn't hate any of these picks at all. So good job in that category. Sleeper pick is Joel Igabunaway. Hopefully I said it right. But why is it a sleeper pick? I thought he was a round 4 or 5 guy. They get him an early round 4. But why is he the sleeper pick? It's because Western Kentucky played a weird defense. They mainly had 2 linebackers on the field at once. And they were both kind of an inside role guy. And he got some decent amount of pass rush and sacks for limited amount of snaps rushing the passer. So throwing him in on the Bears in a 3-4, they could very well use him inside. That's the safest way. Use him inside. But if they try to slide him outside or use him in sub packages, blitz packages, I should say, from the inside, he's a guy to look out for because he's very, very athletic, and he can get to the passer with some developing and some NFL coaching going from Western Kentucky to NFL. It's a sleeper guy. He can make an impact. Maybe not right away, but he's definitely a guy that I think could be a better NFL player than college player. So look out for him. Break down all the picks. Roquan Smith, good pick there. Plug and play. Elite talent in this draft class. James Daniels, I thought was a lock at a first round, maybe late at the first round at the latest. They get him early round 2. Great pick. We talked about Anthony Miller. We talked about Iggy there, 5th round below Nichols. So a guy that I started to like more and more after the draft. I thought he'd be a round 5 guy, maybe drops to round 6. But freakish talent. Was better 2 years ago than last year. I think another guy could be a better pro than he was in college because he needs that more of that coaching because he's got the freakish talent. He just needs developing. So it makes sense that he can take a step up in a few years and be a better pro. Round 6, Kylie Fitz. Good upside for him. I thought he'd be more of a DN in a 4-3, so they bring him in here. They're going to try to develop him maybe as a 3-4 outside linebacker, or does he stay on the line? We will see. They got a plan for him. Then Javon Wims in round 7, I thought was a round 5 guy. Big body receiver that can go up and catch the ball. Pretty athletic for his size, too. He kind of just throw it up in the red zone, and he can get it. So maybe that Georgia offense didn't really favor him, so maybe another guy that has more upside. I know the Bears are going to run more RPOs and spreads, so maybe not. Again, maybe not his type of offense, but he's a wild card to look out for in the red zone. Big body guy, can catch the ball. So overall, good draft for the Bears. Didn't have any worse picks. Some good value at the top. The value at the bottom isn't super valuable, isn't like good steals or anything, but sleeper guys that I thought would go around that range. So I gave the Bears an A. I thought they did an excellent job. They win the NFC North. I thought they needed this too. They didn't have a lot of picks because of the Trubisky trade last year, but I think they're a pretty balanced team now. The only thing I'm looking for maybe is some pass rush, but isn't similar to the Packers. They needed pass rush, but it isn't like they need it to be able to play on Sunday. It's not like that, and they just kind of just need it for the future. They do have some other guys. Leonard Floyd, hope he stays healthy. But I thought they did a good job. Thought it was good enough to win the NFC North here. They'll be moving on. I will be taking a winner from each division. We're going to put them together. Find out who won the NFL draft, in my opinion. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks for everyone's support. We're trying to get up to 10K subscribers by the time the season starts. We've been growing pretty well. I know it's a long way to go. But from last year to this year, thanks to you guys, we've been growing a lot. And we want to continue to grow, be able to do this for you. We want better content. So that goal is 10K. Help us get there. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. That'll do it. Goodbye.